Good morning, good people, fellow humans, and I spell that Huemonds, humans, colorful nuts, because that's what we are. I would think that God must sometimes look down and smile, saying, what a bunch of colorful nuts those people are. If only they knew. Okay, so here we are. Today is Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. Here we are at Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students and interested people on their journey through this life. So good morning. Once again, good morning, fellow travelers on this journey, and good morning, Miss Trinkle, wherever you wherever you are. Good morning, Miss Trinkle, wherever you are. Let's see. So we've got a really big show today, really big show. The theme of today is pure leadership. Yesterday, why am I smiling? Yesterday, I know why I'm smiling. Yesterday, take 3. Yesterday, we talked about crisis leadership. This is pure leadership. Once again, we're in day 2 of week 4 of our neuroscience-oriented approach to success. Boom. Okay, week 4, day 2. Michael Sugra, may he rest in peace. I think he was at Princeton at the time he did this one. Marcus Aurelius, very good one about Stoicism. What was going on in the world in 180 AD? Okay, but more to follow on that later. Let's look and see what else we got on our daily worksheet. Advice from an 80-year-old. Advice from, okay, where'd it go? Advice from an 80-year-old, be romantic. Be romantic. Right, everybody should be. Would that pass the categorical imperative test? Wadabevi's not here, so she can't answer that. I think the answer is yes. If everybody was romantic, if it was a law that everybody had to be romantic, and everybody was romantic, the world would be a better place. Remember, being romantic isn't the same as being hedonistic, right? Right. It's sort of like love, willing the good of the other for the other. Romantic would be something like willing the loving emotions of the other for the other, not for my selfish reason. Oh yeah. So let me go back to something I was thinking about this morning. Where is Miss Trinkle? She's here, right next to Wadabevi. There's Wadabevi. Buenos. I was wondering where you were, and I said, oh, Wadabevi is here in the heart. In the heart. Who knows what evil lurks in the minds of men? Can you answer that one, Wadabevi? Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? Beep bop. Okay, so I'm going to, what else we got here? Be romantic. Bunk. Not bunk. It's not like, hey man, I love you, man. It's more bunk. No. Where are those people? They're right here. I carry them with me at all times. Smile. Okay. This is getting to be too silly. I don't know. Something must have happened last night. Was it in the water? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Okay, what else we got? Okay, so we have 3 red letter things down here. Michael Sugar, number 1. Talk more about that. That is Marcus Aurelius, pure leadership. Next one, Daily Stoic. Daily Stoic is red letter. That's about self-mastery. Don't give in to your emotions. Don't give in to the things that you want to give in. Take it to the brink and then back off and push it just a little bit further and back off. And just a little bit more and back off. That's how you do it. Okay, that's the second one, Daily Stoic. So Michael Sugar, red letter, Daily Stoic, red letter, and Jordan Peterson, red letter, about feeling good, not having, don't beat yourself up about stuff. It's only life. It's only life, not eternity, not what happens after life. Don't take it so seriously. But seriously, people, I have a bone to pick. Let's see. Good morning, Diana. Good morning, Diana. Haven't heard from you for a long time. How are things in Portland? How are things in Portland? Beat Bop Funk. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. How are things in Portland? Okay. While you're answering that question. Oh, who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men or in the minds of men? The shadow do. Right. Okay. Okay, that's it for the red letter. Let's see if there's anything else anybody has. Otherwise, we're going to talk about Michael Sugrove, pure leadership. So, what is leadership? Good. Getting ready to go to T-Guard 1, have a job interview tomorrow. Okay. I don't know where Tigard is, but that's okay. So, what is leadership? Leadership is the polite way of saying power. What? Okay, I'm back. Good. It's the polite way of saying power. What is power? Getting other people to do what you want. That's all power is, just getting other people to do what you want. There's no value judgment. It's like the force. Just think of it as sort of like the force. You can use power for the good or for the bad, right? Why do we call it leadership? Why don't we say power? Because power is one of those words that when you say it, value judgments pop up. So we say leadership. What is in the army? What is a leader? Somebody who gets other people to do what they want. If you're a good leader, you do good at it. Tigard, Oregon, have an interview, take care of Elda. Good. Okay. What do they call it in business? What do they call getting other people to do what you want in business? Diana should know this. Whatnot, Bevy should know this. They call it management. What do managers do? They get other people to do what they want. So we call it leadership, but it's really about power. Power is on a spectrum. The force, and the other end is the opposite of that, and that would be motivating people to do things, encouraging people to do things, complimenting people who do good things. And the ideal thing is to self-motivate people. Like if I could say, wow, here's a great book. If you read this book, your life will change. And if people believe it's going to change, they'll read the book. I don't need to keep telling them every day, hey, read the book. I don't need to okay, people, today, right now, stop doing what you're doing because we're going to read the book. If I can self-motivate you, two things happen. One, I don't have to put a lot more energy into it because you're self-motivated. You're going to do it. You're going to wind yourself up. Number two, you're going to tell other people. Right. Smile. Okay. You're going to tell other people. That's where we want to go with power. We don't want to go dark side because you have to put more and more energy into it. If I'm getting you to do something because I have a gun at your head, how many people can I do that with? Well, it kind of depends on my weapon, right? But if I want to self-motivate you, how many people can I do that with? Right. Understood, Diana. Okay, next. Okay, so this week we're talking about leadership, we're talking about power, we're talking about how to get other people to do what you want in a positive way. Not going to the dark side of the force, going to the positive side of doing things in a positive way to sort of like pump up the tires in the car so the car performs better, not go the other way where we're being critical of people, etc., making people feel bad. Let's say it that way. Okay, so that's what we're talking about this week. And power's on a spectrum. So yesterday we had crisis leadership. Everything's going bad. How do you get people to do what you want when everything is going bad? When the Civil War is going on and your people, your cabinet members, your advisors, the army generals, they don't care about what you care about. You're the leader. You care about A. They don't care about A. How do you lead through that? When there's extreme crisis, when you're thinking about killing yourself, as Lincoln did at least twice, he mentioned it to people that the burden was too heavy, but he kept keeping on. So crisis, or Shackleton, you're on this expedition. Oops, your hubris gets in the way. Oops, your boat sinks. Now everybody's life is in danger. How do you keep leading in crisis? What are the tools in your tool bag? Today we're going the opposite extreme, pure leadership. This is where you can have anything you want. You're the most powerful person in the world. Anything you want, you can have. You're the emperor of Rome, and yet you do the right thing all the time. You consistently do the right thing. And that's Marcus Aurelius. And he had his journals called To Myself, which we have renamed Meditations. So his thoughts to himself, his journals of his personal thoughts. And we find out, well, why did he do this way? And the answer was because he had nobody equal to talk to, and everybody he talked to wanted something from him. So the only place he could do things was to himself, go meet with himself, write notes, think, contemplate, etc. He left instructions for these notes to be burned upon his death. However, his people found him, his scribes, secretaries, whatever, found him and looked at him and said, oh, no. This stuff is too valuable. We can't just throw it away. So this is like in 190 AD is when he died, is my recollection. And so today we're learning about what is the guy who can have everything in the world yet consistently does good. What is he thinking? And since he intended for it to be burned, he wasn't doing like an autobiography by Hillary Clinton, right, where she just wants to accentuate the positive. This is just his personal thoughts for himself, just the record of what he was thinking for himself as he was alive, and just said, burn it when I'm dead. It's unimportant. It's just nothing stuff. So that's today. So pure leadership. And what does he say? He narrows it down. He was a Stoic philosopher. And people who study the church get that when Constantine came in, or when they wanted to bring the Gentiles in, Stoicism was a very popular belief set. And when they brought the Gentiles in, there was a shifting to adopt some of the Stoic principles. And around that time, they started closing all the Stoic schools. Because at the end of the day, Stoicism and Christianity are not really fully in alignment, only because in Stoicism, it says we don't know if there are gods. We don't know. And Stoicism started 300 BC. So, this is like when Marcus Aurelius was around. This is like, 150 years after Jesus' death. Christianity was a small sect. And he, I think, has one line about it in his Meditations. There's this pesky sect out in the West, something like that, out in the East. There's one reference that appears that it's about Christianity, but it wasn't a big deal, so he can't be held at fault for something he didn't know about, but he knew Stoicism. And Stoicism says we don't know if there's a God. We don't know if there are gods. But if you're a good person and there are gods, they're going to, worst case, leave you alone. If there are gods and you're a bad person, you'll be punished. If there are no gods and you're a good person, posterity will remember you kindly. If there are no gods and you're a bad person, well, posterity won't remember you kindly. So even though we don't know whether there are gods, we should act as if there are. And that is heretical to Christianity that says Jesus is the creator incarnate. So one of them had to go and Stoicism went, probably because Christianity appealed to everybody, especially when Constantine legalized it. Now you had people in positions of authority becoming Christians just because of the advantages of being a Christian. There's a business there. We got to open churches, schools, et cetera, et cetera. So, so Marcus Aurelius can't be held at fault because he's not a Christian. He's a Stoic. But what happened is the Stoic schools disappeared. Virtually all disappeared. It went from being a major, one of the three major lines of Gentile philosophy, but that affected the world, Stoicism, to schools being closed and things being adopted in Christianity. For example, one of the fundamental beliefs in Stoicism, premise number one, there are things I can control and things I cannot control. I don't let the things I can't control bother me because I can't control them. That sounds pretty good for Christianity, right? How about this one? Moral virtue is enough. This is Stoicism. Moral virtue is enough. Just do the right thing in the right way at the right time for the right reason. Everything will be okay. Okay? Very compatible with Christianity. So things could be adopted in, and these are things that Jesus did not directly talk about. And yeah, so today we're going to learn a little bit about Marcus Aurelius. And the thing is pure leadership. How do you get a guy who has all of the power in the world? He can get everything he wants. He has all temptations at all times. And yet he continues to do the right thing. Not most of the time, all of the time, which is why he's such an important person in the history of the world, because you don't really have the biography, the autobiography of the most powerful person in the world. Like it would be like Elon Musk having a journal to himself that nobody knew about, and upon his death we find it, and it's the thoughts and beliefs of the richest person in the world. Would we keep that? Would there be interesting stuff there? Yes, there would. Would there be some kooky stuff? Probably. Those might get translated differently or edited out or whatever, but it would be something of tremendous value, Okay, so how do you spell honey bunny? I don't know. Is it with a hyphen? Is it 2 words, 1 word? Curious minds want to know. All right, so we're 18 minutes in. We've got to wrap this up. Going to Las Vegas today. Have a big meeting this afternoon, Lord's Treasure. This could be a game changer, people. Game changer. Let's see, anything else? Oh, Seth Godin. Wow, that was a good one. Seth's blog. What? That's not right. Gotta fix that. That's not Seth's blog. This is Seth's blog. Oh, right. Right. Okay, there we go. Fixed. Predicting the past. What? It's not unusual to encounter conflicting weather reports. One site says it's going to rain, the others insist it won't. On the other hand, you don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. It's sunny right now, you can tell. Weather Service said that it was raining, would deserve to lose all trust and respect. And yesterday's weather, it's really not up for debate. It's easier than ever to find an audience for predictions and to insist that you have the real insight into the future. But a resilient way to earn trust is to acknowledge the present and not rewrite the past. Okay, I know there's deep meaning in that, but I don't have time to contemplate it. in our world today. So, yeah. So we're going to call it a day, call it quits. Sorry, 20 minutes in. My mistake, my apologies. Bing bong.